Scott, good morning. Thank you for spending a little time with us.
Good morning, Bentley. Thanks for having me.
So, Scott, you're principal at SDR Ventures, our M&A friends in Denver. Tell me a little bit about your background before we get started, and then I've got a couple questions for you that I think some of our clients will be interested in hearing the answer of.
Absolutely appreciate it. I've been with SDR Ventures for 6 years now. I took a little bit of the road less traveled to investment banking, but really started in operating companies, working in corporate finance and helping do deals from within operating company that was owned by private equity. So I feel like that's given me some good experience to really step into the shoes of an operator and understand M&A from that perspective. But now that we're on the advisor side, I lead the team here at SDR as managing director and really oversee all of our deals and make sure that from start to finish, we're accomplishing what we set out to do, and really just being an advocate for the founder and entrepreneur. At the end of the day, that's our heartbeat. Is we just want to advocate for what's best holistically for our founders and entrepreneurs.
Well, as you know, Scott, most of our clients have had a liquidity event. They've sold the business already, but we also have a number of families that still own operating businesses that they may look to sell in the future. And one of the questions that that comes up from time to time is, do I really need anyone to help me sell my business? Why would I hire an SDR to do this transaction? I already know quite a bit about this market and who the likely buyers are. I know you guys are in the business of selling businesses, but how would you answer that question?
Yeah, absolutely. So for most of the folks that we work with, selling their business is a once in a lifetime, maybe 2 or 3 times if you're very fortunate to have that opportunity. But either way, it's really a milestone event, and it has many implications, right? It's not just about the transaction, it's about what you're accomplishing holistically in your life and life after. And so it's a really important milestone. So I am part of a group called Vistage, and they have a model that's really step back from M&A. It's about decision making, right? And the more important a decision is, if that's your y-axis, and the more complex it is on your x-axis, the more that you need to start bringing in outside perspectives, right, to get that optimal outcome. So if you have a really simple decision and it's low importance and low complexity, then you just use your gut, what you're going to have for lunch. If it's of medium complexity and medium importance, then all right, I'll start to analyze it a little bit. I'll bring in some data, start to piece that together. But for those big decisions that are both wildly important and wildly complex, you need to really bring in an outside perspective, whether that's with someone like Naviter in terms of managing a liquidity event or the wealth of a family, or a lawyer in IP. And I would just say in general the same thing about M&A, right? You want to bring in those perspectives because it's really important to optimize your decision, not just have a good decision, but have a great decision. So I would start with that framework. And then I would just also add, we really think about 3 C's when it comes to a transaction. So first is your consideration, right? And folks tend to focus on that headline number. And so maybe a buyer comes in with an unsolicited offer and you think, well, that seems like it's in the ballpark. But the devil is really in the details when you get into the actual structure of that offer. What are the components? And frankly, are they going to be able to stick with what they've put in front of you, right? That leads to the next C, which we call the certainty of close, meaning that oftentimes a buyer, if they're able to work directly without founder or entrepreneur, they've got a lot of leverage in that equation. And so part of it is we're just trying to balance out those scales and make sure that the seller has the leverage that they need to get the deal that was agreed to. People think, all right, well, if I get a number in front of me, that's the number it's going to be when the deal closes. And that just tends to not always be the case, right? So, as far as certainty of close, the metrics we're hearing and studies we've seen say, 20 to 30% of contemplated deals actually close, and our close rate is 88%, right? So, and we don't always close deals that first time, right? We've got to have that backup option. You want to have that B, C term sheet, if you will. 1 out of 4 deals, it doesn't close with the original buyer. And if you don't have a strong backup option, you could either allow that original buyer to have too much leverage, or, the deal may fall apart. So that's the second C. And then the third C is closure, right? It's really about, is this the right buyer for my business? Do they have the right situation for me personally in terms of my work life? Are they going to be a good steward of the brand, of the customers, of the people, of the management team? Those are all just super key factors that, you want to create a menu of options for yourself in this M&A event. And so it's really important to think through those 3 C's.
So would a business valuation be a great place to start? You guys have been kind enough to offer Naviter clients a complimentary business valuation to kind of start the process. How would someone go about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And for us, when we do a business valuation, yes, the thing we want to do first and foremost is understand, where do we think the market's really at for your business, right? So if for those football fans, I like to use the field goal analogy. All right, what is the 45-yard field goal in terms of the value of my business? And then what's a 55-yard field goal and a 65-yard field goal, right? To use that analogy. And we want to set expectations appropriately. Some folks in our industry don't have have the reputation rather for sort of telling the client what they want to hear, right? And our perspective is, we want to start off on that right foot and make sure that we've got that 45-yard field goal that we can feel confident about, and then understand that we also are incented to drive a 55 or 65-yard field goal, if you will. And so we're happy to do that valuation work just to give the right perspective. And along with that, we also just talk about, hey, who are the potential buyers? What does the market look like more generally? Is now a favorable time, an unfavorable time? What are some of the trends we're seeing? So it's even a broader strategic discussion that we're happy to work through with founders and entrepreneurs.
Well, Scott, I know we'll have some clients who want to take you up on that offer, so I'm sure we'll be circling back soon. Again, I value our relationship, and I'm, again, honored to have been able to work with some of your clients already, and look forward to you assisting some of ours. So hopefully you'll hop back on another time and educate us on another topic or two.
Absolutely, Bentley. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Scott.